Luke, congratulations. Your smile says it all. You had to work hard for that. How would you sum up the emotions right now?
Yeah, it's a game that I felt like I just didn't have the grasp on the whole. I didn't feel like I had a grasp on it. I felt like it was anybody's game, especially after the first 20 legs. And 11-9 up, I felt I was probably lucky to be 11-9 up in a way. And if maybe Dimitri was 11-9, he probably would have felt lucky as well, because in my opinion, we both weren't playing great. But the last mini session, the last 6 legs was what won the game. To be honest, I was much better than Dimitri. He wasn't good, and I was brilliant. So I think that was what won the game.
That middle section of the game, you seem to be struggling with yourself and the pace of the game. Was that playing on your mind at all after what happened in my head?
No, not at all. I didn't struggle with the pace, to be honest. I think I just struggled with my own game. I just didn't feel comfortable. Sometimes you walk up on that stage and you don't feel comfortable. Not every time you walk up there and it feels absolutely unbelievable and feel like you can hit 100 averages. When I walked up there on Saturday night, I felt unbelievable. I felt like I could have hit what I did, and I did. But sometimes you walk up there and it don't feel as good as it should do. And to walk away with 101 average after that, it kind of says that maybe my standards are too high sometimes, but I did enough to win in the end, and I think that 106 outshot when Dimitri at the back-to-back 180s was a massive factor in winning that game, to be honest, and that's what world champions do. And then decisive moments, they turn the game around.
On stage, you don't give a lot away at times, but the old shoulder roll celebration, you certainly let everyone know. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was just one of them things. I felt when Dimitri at the second 180 did the shoulder on, I thought that's such an unnatural reaction. Usually he'd give it a bit of come on, and he sort of was giving it a bit of swag, and I thought, well, if this goes, I'm giving it back to be honest. I'm not shy to celebrate. I'm not one of them people that you don't really see a lot of celebrations from me, to be honest, but I'm not shy to do it, but I don't like to give too much away. But as soon as he did that, I thought, well, you're going to get it back, to be honest, and I was pretty revved up after that, and maybe that could have been the mistake he made. Because if he didn't do that, I might have just felt a little flat, and that 106 didn't go, and then you don't see the great things that happened after. But yeah, it's when people do things like that, it revs me up, to be honest. And like the last 5 legs after that was fantastic. So maybe that was his mistake in the game.
3 ton plus averages on that stage. You said you weren't at your very best, but you can still produce moments like that. And 3 ton plus averages, tournament average around 103. You're going to take some beating.
Yeah, that's all I ask myself, Phil, is just someone to play incredibly well, and if they beat you, then so be it. But if I keep performing at over 100 average, it will take that. And if someone don't come out and play well, then they won't beat me, and I'll lift the title. But it's going to be a tough run in now. Obviously, really good friends with James, but it doesn't bother me now. I'm there to beat him, and he'll be there to beat me. We've practiced all week together. We practiced together on Tuesday, practiced together today, all day. Get on really well, but obviously when I play him on Saturday, I'm going to want to beat him, and he's going to want to beat me. And fantastic player, very underestimated. But with the experience I've got, I know not to underestimate. I know that he can come out and play as well as he did again, what he did tonight, again on Saturday. So for me, I'm going to have to work incredibly hard to beat him, because I don't want to give him a shot at double, because you know how deadly he is on.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Phil.
Well done.
Thank you.
Being revved up and having that sort of energy, how does that sort of change your game in a situation like that?
Well, it probably changed it in a positive way for myself and a negative way for Dimitri, because I felt a little flat. Sometimes that just happens. I don't know. I can't give you an explanation as to why that happens, but in the mid part of that game, I felt really flat, and then as soon as he did the shoulder roll, it kind of revved me on a little bit. I thought, okay, then you're going to do that to me. I'm going to fire back, and that 106 when it gave me that energy I needed. I'm one of these people that takes all the energy gels and stuff to get myself, in good shape and the energy levels high. I wouldn't have needed anything, because that just gave me a burst of energy, to be honest. And it was good fun, and everyone loves to see things. A bit of needle. There's no animosity between me and Dimitri at all, but it gave me that little bit of a spur to push on and go and win the game in good fashion. I did.
James has been very complimentary of yourself this week. We spoke to him a couple of times about you in his post-match interviews. He's obviously someone that's sitting outside just about the top 16 in the world at the moment, but what he's won in the past obviously doesn't reflect, and how he's playing now doesn't reflect that position.
No, and I'll be complimentary about James. We're good friends, to be honest. He won't like me saying that, because he don't like anybody calling him a friend, but we are, and he will, if he was honest, he'd say that. We get on really well. And I've been practicing him all week. His finishing's always fantastic. Always is when we play finishing games. Gutted that I'm obviously playing him because I'd rather be playing him in the final or something because I'd rather practice him on Saturday. But it is what it is. I'm playing against him now. I think it was 2 or 3 times last year. I think 3 times we played each other last year. I beat him twice. He beat me once. So I know how to beat him and he knows how to beat me. So there's no outgoing favourite. We're both going to fancy our chances. I'm certainly going to fancy mine. He's going to fancy his, and he's just a player not to underestimate, to be honest. But I just know if I'm on my top game, on my A game, it's going to be a massive struggle for him. But if I'm not, he's got every chance of winning, and he'll believe just like I can. It's a winnable game for us both.
You'll have seen sort of the struggles that he's gone through of late. Earlier in your career, you were someone that went through your own struggles.
Yeah, I sympathise with him. He's come through a lot, to be honest. He's worked incredibly hard to get himself back into this position, and I kind of feel that so many people, not you guys here, so many people underestimate him. They probably would never have given him the chance of making the semi-finals this week, but I would all the time. I just know how good he is. I know how mentally strong he is, and if I'm not the one to go and lift this title, it's him. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. He's got that in him. He'll never be beaten, and it'd be nice to see James back in the top. In the Premier Leagues and in the World Series and stuff, because he deserves it. I know we spoke about it previously, but he's going to have to continue working hard. He's going to have to keep, winning things. He's going to have to win big major tournaments. And if he does, he'll be back. But he's definitely not finished in this sport, I think. There's still a lot more to come from James. But of course, I hope it's not on Saturday. Thank you.
Luke, the last person to beat you in a ranking major was Dimitri, who you've just beaten. And before that, it was James way back in October. Have you acclimatised to being the main guy in that? Because it has all happened in such a short amount of time. We sometimes forget that 12 months ago you hadn't won a ranking major.
Well, I think it's redemption week, isn't it? I think Bunting in the Masters, it's Dimitri in the UK, but if I beat James, it's the European Championship. So it could be redemption week, but of course, I'm only joking. It's there's no revenge or redemption in this game. If you feel it that way, then you'll be looking out for revenge every week. To be honest, you get beat all the time and you beat people. There is no revenge, of course. I know that Dimitri beat in the UK Open, but he deserved it. To be honest, I know he, played along and took a lot of time, but it didn't bother me too much. It meant a lot more to him than it obviously did to me. Obviously I wanted to win, but I'd won 4 major titles before that. If I'd have won that and won my 5th, then I'd have been, incredibly pleased. But, it was his part of coming back into the sport, and it meant a lot more to him than it obviously did to me. But he was much more calm tonight. He didn't really play any antics. He was just getting on with it. To be honest, he's kind of slowed it down a little bit on the back end of the game. But I felt like he wasn't doing that on purpose. He was trying to compose himself, and unfortunately, he just wasn't good enough in the end.
Next up is a best of 33. I think we're in an age now where it's all about the power scoring almost when you look at the top guys and what they can do. Is James going to be able to live with that format?
If I play at my best, possibly not. But just showed tonight that I regard Ross Smith as probably one of the top 4 scorers in the world, in my opinion, when he's on it. So, and he coped with Ross pretty well. So there's no reason he couldn't cope with me, to be honest. But it's up to me to be on my A game. I think he averaged 99 or 100 tonight. So I'd see it. Someone said in an interview. So 100, yeah. So he can do it over a long period. The only thing he's not done over the last sort of 2 years is done it consistently. But I just know not to underestimate him. I'm gonna go into Saturday thinking if I score my best and play my best, I know I can win. But we all know James can really test you. So for me, just don't take him for granted. Just work hard, gritty performance, and don't give him any shots at a double. That's the game plan anyway.
You touched on it earlier. You've averaged over 100 in every round so far. I think that was 101. People talk about A game, B game, C game. Where was that for you? That performance? Yeah,
it's probably like B game. I'm not going to disrespect it and say it's C or D game because that'd be being big-headed. It's not my A game, of course. But my A plus game is probably what I did on Saturday. My A game is sort of around the 104, 105 mark. But tonight you can't. I didn't feel like it was as good as it felt with the average, but I can't complain. It's 101 average over 26 legs of darts when I didn't feel at my best. It's a good standard, to be honest. And if I do feel at my best on Saturday, then of course it'll probably end up being 99, and it'd be strange. You'll feel like you've played better and you've averaged less. But as long as I keep hitting that treble 20 harder and harder and harder, I'll be a tough player to beat, and that's all I ask of myself.
Cheers, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Luke, congratulations.
Thank you.
Going back 2 years, you went out the first round here. Obviously, that means you're not defending particularly much at
No.
this event. So obviously, with all the success you've had in the past year or so, does the fact that you're not defending much here, does that free up another gear for you, as we've seen, to put 3 time plus averages in the line?
No, not at all. I think it doesn't matter what happens here this week. I'll still be, world number 1. So, I'm not looking into things like that, to be honest. And I won't be looking into things like that next year when I'm defending a lot of money, because I'd rather be world number 1 and rather be defending it than not. So for me, I don't look into defending this, defending that. If you do, you'll probably just, it'll just put too much pressure on your shoulders. For me, I'd rather be where I am right now than not. So yeah, I'm not defending much, but next year I am. So I'm trying to, if you're going to think of a game plan for your ranking, is try and build as much as you can this year and not put too much pressure on yourself next year. But for me, I've been world number 1 now. If it lasts for 18 months to 2 years, or it lasts for 10 years, regardless, I've been there and done it. So I'm incredibly pleased with that, regardless.
Obviously, last year made it to the semi-final. Has that last year almost inspired you a bit more this year to just push one step further and make it to the final?
It has, and I remember the last time I walked out this room gutted, to be honest, because I felt it was my time. I felt like this could have been the tournament to beat me, and obviously my management and my sponsors, my family was all like, you'll go again next year, you can do it next year. And you sit there thinking, yeah, but will I really do it next year? I'm going to have to take that disappointment. But my God, between them last sort of 12 months, I've won so many major titles, 5 now. So yeah, it did spur me on a little bit, and obviously coming back here this year, it's more like, you want to go on and achieve things that you felt like you possibly could have done last year. So for me, yeah, of course, I want that redemption of going on and making the final and giving myself a chance at glory. But there's so many great players in this sport nowadays that you just never know if it's your time or not. But I've won so much in this sport already that I'm just enjoying it, and hopefully I can win a lot more.
And of course, this is James's 9th semi-final at the World Matchplay, your 2nd.
Yes, because he's old. I'm joking.
I guess I don't need to ask anything further.
No.
But going into a match like that, obviously you know him well. Is that something you consider the experience factor, or is it you practice with him so much that kind of thing just doesn't come into your head?
No, don't. I think all the majors we played in this year and last year, every time we're on the same session, we practice together. I don't know why, we just do. We like each other. We have a good laugh and just practice finishing. That's what we do. But yeah, I think 9 semi-finals is a testament to how really good he is and how underrated he is. I think he doesn't get the respect he probably deserves, just because he's not a massive 180 hitter and stuff like that. But he get the respect from me and a lot of the top pros, because he deserves all the accolades he's got. And he won many majors in an era where Phil Taylor stopped a lot of people actually winning. So he's got my respect anyway.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Luke, fantastic performance tonight. Obviously, when it was 11-9, you said that you weren't playing that well, but including that 164 finish, you could say that you shut the door completely on Dimitri towards the end of the match. Yeah, I did. I think after 11-9, I went off to the break, and I felt, I wasn't playing my best, but I thought just kick in and just, cut the big legs. It can really close the game here. And I can't remember where it went, but I think I went 13-10 up, didn't I? And I thought, right, this is your chance now to really close it out. And that 164 was the defining factor to really shut the door in his face, to be honest. And I thought, you got 4 legs here to close the game out, and obviously really pleased to do it in that 26th leg. But he played a great part. He played a fantastic game, but unfortunately for him, in that last session after the 20th leg, he was rubbish. He didn't play his best, and I was just much better. And you mentioned and obviously you've had a glittering career so far with all the major tournaments that you've won, but one thing that is missing is a match play final. Is that an extra incentive to go and get the win on Saturday? Yeah,
there's a lot of things missing. There's still a Premier League title to missing, there's still a match play missing, there's still a European Championship missing. There's still many things missing from my career, to be honest, but I'm only 29, so I've got many, many years to put that right, but this is definitely something that's missing. And if it happens this year, absolutely over the moon. I'll be so pleased. It's been an incredible 12 months. If it's not this year, I'll walk away and still work hard in the future years to win as much as I can, because when I've achieved all the things I've achieved already, world champion, world number 1, I'm just here to enjoy it, to be honest. I know sometimes on the stage it doesn't look like I'm enjoying it, but I am. Trust me, I'm really enjoying life. And if it doesn't happen this year, I go into my beautiful family and I get to spend some time with them. But of course, they're going to be here on Saturday now because school's finished. So my stepdaughter and my son can come back, and we do it as a family. And if I win, I'll be over the moon. If I don't, then I'll be back next year to make sure that I try again harder.